When a woman noticed a mother and her young children sleeping on the cold floor of a busy airport, she couldn't just walk past. Something about their exhaustion and vulnerability stirred her deeply. What she did next sparked a chain of events no one saw coming. For many, vacation travel is the highlight of the year, a time filled with excitement and anticipation. But for families juggling young children and financial hardships, it can quickly become overwhelming and stressful. Yet, during the season of giving, even the smallest act of compassion from a stranger can bring unexpected hope and joy to those who feel like they have nothing left. Janice, a 41-year-old single woman, had spent much of her life in the air, hopping from city to city on business trips. A seasoned public relations manager for a major media company in Los Angeles, her role kept her constantly on the move, forging new partnerships and expanding the company's global presence. Outside of work, she considered herself a philanthropist and had a passion for travel, Japanese cuisine, and video games whenever she found a moment to unwind. Maybe it was the demands of her career or the trail of love stories that never quite worked out that kept Janice single past 40. Whatever the reason, it wasn't something she dwelt on in her daily life. She saw herself as content and complete, genuinely happy with the fast-paced, fulfilling life she had built. However, the fact that she was a single adult woman without children did not make her cold and unfeeling. Quite the contrary, Janice was a very pleasant, cheerful person with a great sense of humor. But above all, and this is something that everyone who knows her well agrees on, Janice is a generous person with a huge heart who always cares about the welfare of others. And it is precisely her big heart and her ability to help others that we're telling you this story about. A moving story that will make even the most skeptical have faith in life again, and in which Janice proved once again that empathy and generosity will always be the best gift we can give to others in the most difficult moments. It all happened when Janice made it to LAX after missing her first scheduled flight and having to wait more than 5 hours in the terminal to get a ticket home. Another person would have been very nervous and would have arrived at the airport in a bad mood, but Janice was very used to setbacks and had a truly amazing ability to remain calm. Upon arrival at LAX, she had to wait again for her bags to go through baggage claim, a protocol common at all airports and quite tedious, but one that Janice was used to. So she took it easy and strolled around the terminal while her bags arrived. When she had been waiting for 20 minutes, Janice felt the need to go to the bathroom and went to the nearest women's restroom. That's when she heard something that would break her heart. As Janice entered the bathroom, she could hear a woman crying inconsolably in one of the adjoining bathrooms. The woman was crying nonstop and mumbling words that were difficult to understand. Janice could tell the crying woman was American, as she spoke in Spanish with a Latin accent, possibly Mexican. Janice wondered if she should say something like, "Everything's going to be fine," but the woman was nervous and speaking Spanish, she wasn't sure she'd be understood. At first, she decided to leave the woman alone. However, after spending 10 minutes feeling terrible about leaving her alone, Janice ended up going back to the bathroom 4 more times while waiting for her bags, struggling with herself over whether she should talk to this poor woman. "It's none of my business. She's probably crying over something personal that's none of my business. Besides, she probably won't even understand me, and I'll only end up scaring her," she said to herself, trying to convince herself that walking away and moving on with her life would be the right thing to do. However, just as Janice was about to walk back out of the bathroom door, she heard her say, "But the bus doesn't come until tomorrow. We have nowhere to sleep, and we have no food left either. And it's so cold." The woman was very upset and seemed worried that she'd have nowhere to spend the night until the next day. Hearing her say that, Janice felt her heart shrink. Instantly, she knew she couldn't just sit on the sidelines and wanted to help the woman. She walked over to the door of the bathroom where the woman was locked, and after knocking on the door, asked, "Can I help? My name is Janice. I just arrived from San Diego, and I'm waiting for my bag. Forgive my boldness, but I heard you crying and couldn't help but hear your conversation. If you need help, I could help," Janice said softly. On the other side of the door, there was an awkward silence, broken by the sound of the door latch. On the other side, Janice was met with something truly desolate. In the bathroom stall was someone else. When the door opened and Janice peeked in, she could see a mother sitting on the toilet and leaning over her son, a boy who wouldn't have been more than 3 years old and was lying on a small blanket she'd spread out on the floor. But that wasn't all. The woman was also carrying a sleeping baby, barely a few months old, attached to her chest in a small backpack. Janice had to hold back the urge to cry. Throughout her life, she'd faced all kinds of challenges, but she'd never been in a similar situation. She felt very sad to see the woman there alone, so she tried to offer her help and get her and her children out of there as soon as possible. The woman was looking at her with wide eyes, and Janice wasn't sure she understood her. She was frightened and held her baby tightly to her chest. The child on the floor was looking at her suspiciously and clinging to his mother's leg. "Don't be afraid. I just want to help. I have plenty of money to take care of the three of you. Please let me help you," Janice repeated to the woman, trying to speak so that she would understand her better and smiling at her so she wouldn't be more scared. The woman seemed to begin to understand what she was trying to tell her and stopped crying. Next, Janice asked her if she had Zelle or Cash App so she could send her money, but the woman didn't. "I have hardly any money, no modern cell phones. I just want a place for my children to sleep and not be cold. They're hungry, and it'll soon get dark outside," the woman explained in clumsy English, but Janice was able to understand her without a problem. Sim moved a little closer to her and the children, trying to make her understand that she just wanted to help them get out of there. She continued to tell her, "I live near the center of town, and I know a beautiful hotel where you can stay overnight until tomorrow. You don't have to do anything, and you don't owe me anything either. You just have to come with me. I'll take care of everything for you," Janice told her gently, trying to gesture as much as possible to make her message clear and understandable. "You want to help us? Do you want to pay for a hotel, but you don't know us?" answered the mother with a trembling voice and an incredulous gesture. It was very difficult for her to understand why a complete stranger would offer to help her and pay for a hotel room. Janice understood the woman's distrust and smiled at her. She was sure that the poor mother had not had much luck in her life and that she must not have met very nice people. All this time, Janice was determined to help her forget, if only for a day. So she tried to explain the reasons for her generosity and convince her to accompany her to a nearby hotel. "I help you because it is what all of us who can do should do. I'll help you because it breaks my heart to see a mother hiding in an airport restroom, fearing for what might happen tomorrow. I'll assist you because I can and because I won't be able to keep looking in the mirror if I don't, and go on with my life as if nothing of this happened. That's why I want to help you," Janice told her with great determination and gentleness in her voice. The woman looked at her as if she had seen an angel pass by. "My name's Janice. I live 20 minutes from here, and I can make you and your children safe with a bed and food until tomorrow. Even if you needed more assistance, I could help you too. Do you just have to ask, okay?" The woman just nodded and smiled. She then did as Janice instructed, and she and her children spent the night at the Marriott, just as Janice had promised. The woman, whose name was Maria Sanchez, was of Mexican origin, and although she didn't want to give Janice any details about what had led her to be locked in the airport bathroom, Janice knew perfectly well what it was all about. She didn't need any explanations. It was enough for her to know that they would be fine there and that her assistance would help them overcome whatever their problems were at that moment. After paying for the room for a day and making sure they were settled in well, Janice never heard from the woman and her two children again. She didn't really need to. She knew the next day they'd have disappeared and had headed for a safer place where someone would probably already be waiting for them. Janice didn't need the woman to thank her for her help. She knew she'd done the right thing, and that filled her heart with peace. A few days later, Janice shared her story on the Daily Dose of Kindness Facebook page, reflecting on the moment that had stayed with her. "I was so happy to help her, especially knowing I would have just spent that money on something unnecessary," she wrote. She went on to say, "She came with me all the way to the Marriott, and I got her a room for the night." In her post, Janice also explained why she felt compelled to share the experience, not for praise, but to shed light on how many others in similar situations are often overlooked. She hoped her story would inspire others to act when they see someone in need. "I'm glad I spoke up. She was incredibly sweet, so grateful, and had her babies with her," Janice shared in her post, clearly moved by the experience. Her story quickly gained attention, with many praising her compassion and the post overflowing with supportive comments. "God bless you for your kindness," one person wrote. Another added, "Thank you for sharing this. I hope your story inspires others to step up in similar situations. Such a beautiful gesture," read another comment. The sentiment was echoed throughout, Small acts of kindness can leave a powerful impact, and stories like Janice's remind us that goodness is still very much alive. Janice's heartfelt act serves as a powerful reminder of the impact one person's kindness can have. While we may not all come across a struggling family at an airport, there are countless opportunities in our own communities to make a difference, whether by volunteering at shelters, donating essentials, or simply offering support to those in need. Her story shows that while receiving gifts can be joyful, it's the genuine acts of compassion and selflessness that truly leave a lasting mark. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you liked this story. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also, subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the updates from our channel. Thank you.